Hi guys, and welcome to today's TechPath tutorial. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Windows 10 Start menu and how you can kind of make it your own. Okay, so right off the bat you might notice on the right hand side that there is some modern tile icons, like a lot of the new Windows 10 sort of apps are usually by default put on this right hand side. And they're quite useful as quick shortcuts, but let's be honest, most of these apps you either A, won't use, or B, really don't need a shortcut to. So let's see how we can adjust these and modify them to what we want to make it look like. Okay, so you want to go ahead and start getting rid of some of these icons. So how we do that is we go ahead and let's just pick on the Candy Crush soda icon, and we right click on that icon. Then we go unpin and boom, it's gone. So it's simple as that. Unfortunately, there is no way that we can automatically remove all of the tiles. If you wanted to just dump the entire lot and start afresh, you will have to unfortunately manually unpin each tile. So bit of a downside, but it is good that it is customizable. Okay, so next up is disabling some live tiles. So how we go about this is we go ahead and we right click on the news icon, which is the example at the moment. And we want to go down to more, then we go to turn live tile off. And what this effectively does is it turns off kind of the auto scroll of like different animations and things that are going on. You won't really have a need to do this, I can't imagine, but if it does annoy you, you can turn it off. Okay, so next up is resizing an icon. So we're just going to go ahead and pick on the calculator here. So if I want to move that around, I just click on it and just kind of drag it down and drop. And now I want to make it a bit bigger, so I go ahead and I right click on the icon and then we go resize. And then we have the option to go a bit bigger or a bit smaller. So let's just click on the bigger option. And boom, that is now a bigger icon. Okay, so next up is pinning an icon. So if you have a look over on the left, I want to pick on Adobe Premiere Pro CC, and I just want to pin that to the right hand side because I use it a lot. So I just go ahead and hover over it and right click and then go pin to start. And as you can see now, that has popped up at the bottom of the list and I can move it around and resize it as I please. Okay, so let's shift our attention away from the right hand side of the menu and let's focus on the left hand side of the menu. Just very briefly, you may notice that I've kind of glazed over it, and that's the different applications that you can scroll up and down through. This functions as the earlier versions of Windows did. You can still scroll through, pick which application you want, and it'll run like it always has done since the earlier versions of Windows. So let's move our attention over this one and let's focus on the three buttons on the bottom left. Okay, so just going over the three buttons, at the very top we have the user button. This is followed by the settings button and then the power button. So just going ahead and clicking on the power button, we have the option to reset, shut down and put the computer to sleep. All very straightforward options and have been in previous versions of Windows. The next one up is the settings button. Now this launches the new Windows 10 settings app, and this is kind of where you can change a lot of all the basic settings. You will still need to use the older control panel for more advanced settings, but hopefully you won't need to tinker with that too much. And finally we have the user profile up the top. Now with the user profile, you get a couple of different options. This is where it gets a little confusing when compared to older versions of Windows. So you'll notice sign out and lock are only available from this menu. They're actually not available from the power menu, which is different from earlier versions of Windows. And the change account settings option up the top, that will just launch the Windows 10 settings app in that particular field. Okay, so let's move on to the resizing of the start menu for Windows 10. Now, this one's pretty straightforward. We can just go up to the top here and click and drag down and make it a bit shorter. We can also click and drag in from the side to make it a bit narrower. And unfortunately, this is as narrow as we can make it with the tiles currently active. If we did remove the tiles, we can shrink it down to an even smaller size. But for now, we'll just leave this as is. we are also able to, again, click and drag back out and make it bigger. So you have your options of which way you want to go. Okay, so let's move on to the most important feature of the start menu, and that's the search bar. So if we just go ahead and open this up, and I just type in Audacity, which is a bit of a unique application. You'll see that it shows up the top there, and I can just go ahead and either A, hit enter and it'll open the application, or I can click on it. And as you can see, that's now opening up. And that's the basic functionality to open apps, but the search is not limited to that. So if you also notice here, the settings app is open in the background, and I'm just going to go ahead and open a setting within that menu by searching in the search bar. It's worth noting you don't need to have the settings app open for this to work. It does search everything within the settings app. So let's just go ahead and search for VPN. And as you can see, it brings up a couple of options here, and let's just go ahead and select the top one, change virtual private networks, and we just click on that guy there, and boom, you can see that opens up in the settings app over there to where it is located. So that's another useful feature, and the last and most important feature is being able to actually search for a website. So let's go ahead and search for google.com, because that seems like a site most people would go to. So I just type it in the search bar, hit enter, and boom, it opens it up in the browser, as you can see. Okay guys, that concludes this tutorial on the start menu in Windows 10. Thank you very much for watching, and we hope to see you in the next one.